Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we'll be making donuts. The recipe that I'm going to make today is roughly for about 12 donuts. What we need to do, I'll give you the ingredients listed below as well, but we'll go through them real quickly. What I've got is 5 grams of yeast. What I've done to the yeast is just tempered it with around 40-degree temperature of water, added a little bit of sugar just to give it a bit of feeding time as well. We've also using roughly around 130 ml of water. We're using 45 grams of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 egg, and I'm using shortening, around 30 grams of shortening, which I'm adding to the mixture now, and also 230 grams of flour. If you want to double up the mixture, you can, and that will make around 24 donuts. So basically put all the ingredients together, put them in a blender, and start mixing. But what I've done also, I've left the yeast rise for about 5 minutes as well, just to give it a bit of a chance to rise. Now I've put all the ingredients together, we're mixing everything in. Basically I've added the yeast, the eggs, the flour, and now the sugar. Always add the salt last when you make the mix as well. Now with this mixture, we're just trying to get it to come together. We don't want a real hard dough, so now I'm adding the water. And the reason why I use water instead of milk, which a lot of people do, is milk doesn't need, you can't fry milk and butter. It doesn't fry very well, so you're making donuts, so don't try and avoid using milk and butter. That's why I use the shortening. It gives the donut a nice white ring around it and can make them fluffy as well. Whereas milk is really heavy and it burns, and no one's going to fry milk, so it just makes sense to use water and shortening. So what I'm doing now is adding a bit of extra flour just to give it a bit more. It's too sticky at the moment, so what I've done, I've put a bit of flour just so when it rises, it does actually not stick to the bowl. So what I'm doing now is covering it, and we're going to let it sit and rest for about an hour and a half to 2. I'm flouring my board just to get the dough out. It's rested for a good couple of hours. I'm pulling it away from the bowl. As you can see, it's a sticky sort of mixture, not a hard dough. So you want that stickiness so you can make fluffy donuts. If you want thick, gluggy donuts, make it thicker. Make the batter thicker, but I prefer really fluffy donuts. And as you'll see the end product, they're really fluffy. So I'm just basically laying out the dough. So I will use a rolling pin in a second just to get it to about 1 inch thick. Now I've used dough cutters before, but I've got a smaller dough cutter which doesn't give you a really big donut. So what I'm going to use today is a glass, and then another smaller glass that cut the insert from the middle of the donut as well. So just roll out your dough to about 1 inch thick. And once we get there, we'll start cutting out the donuts. Make sure you flour the glass first so it doesn't stick. So we go around, we keep on cutting, and that's the smaller glass that I'm using in the middle just to cut out the donut. So keep on going until we cut out the donuts, and you can always roll the dough after once you're finished and start again. A lot of people use the little ones as a small donut, but I prefer just to make full donuts myself. It's up to you. You can do it either way as well. You can even use the little ones as a jam donut and use them for stuff them with jam. Guys, as you can see, we've made roughly around 12 donuts. Now, in the meantime, we're going to have to let them rest for at least about half an hour just to rise again. Now, in the meantime, we'll make a nice vanilla glaze. So what we do, we use icing sugar, and we also use cream to that as well. So basically, I've used 2 tablespoons of icing sugar to roughly about 2.5 tablespoons of cream. Just normal cream, doesn't have to be heavy cream. And you also put in about 3 drops of vanilla sugar if you want to make it vanilla icing, vanilla glaze. Now, as you can see, I'm just mixing the icing sugar with the cream. We're just trying to get a nice consistency where it's not too thick, but it is drizzly and runny. So when you do dip in your donuts, the glaze will stick on. And also let your donuts rest for about a good 5-10 minutes before you glaze them, because if it's too hot, it will just melt the sort of glazing as well. So let them rest for about 10 minutes where you can handle the donuts without getting burnt, and then dip them into the ice glazing. Now, as you can see, guys, the glazing is sort of running off my spoon as I lift it up, and that's perfect consistency. You don't want it any thicker than that. Now, we've let our donuts rise for about a good extra half hour, and as you can see that they've risen beautifully, so what we'll do, we're ready for frying. So basically get your fryer, get your oil into your fryer. You can use any oil, whether it's vegetable, whether it's canola, whatever you prefer. Just get it to about 160, but no more than that. Don't try and cook donuts at 180, you'll burn them. Try and keep it at around 150 to 160 Celsius. Now, as you can see, we've dropped our first donut in there. Usually I do about 4 at a time, but we'll just do one just to show you the cooking process. And as you can see, it's got a beautiful white ring around it, and that's what you want to sort of get in a donut, that white ring, which makes it fluffy and keeps it from becoming sort of like a hard donut with too much. If it's a heavy dough, it will sink down into the oil and won't give you the white ring. As you can see, I've got 4 in here now, and the temperature, I've lowered it to around 150 at the moment. So we'll just give them a couple minutes. As you can see in the middle, if as soon as it starts colouring, then you can flip them over, and that's your perfect colour for a donut. And with a perfect donut is a white ring, and that's what you want to try and achieve. As you can see, the donuts have got a beautiful white ring around them. And then once they've cooled a little bit, just drop them in the glaze, roll them upside down, and then plate them up. What we'll do, we'll just glaze the rest of them, and then we'll cut one open and show you what the inside looks like. This is one of the best donut recipes. You don't need to look for any other recipe, just follow this one. It's one of the best tasting recipes you'll get. So that's the donuts. As you can see, we're going to cut one open now, and inside is as fluffy as air. Absolutely delightful to eat. One of the best donuts. I personally, I can't handle thick donuts where it's all doughy, where I prefer it to be nice and fluffy and airy. Try it out, guys, and see what you think, and let me know in the columns below. And please subscribe if you like. Bye.